So Marc Lobliner made a response video to me, but it's come to my attention that he signed with Fullscreen, a multi-channel network that loves to abuse YouTube's copyright claim system. So I had to come up with a creative way to show you what Marc said without having to deal with Fullscreen's bullshit. Boom! What's up everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Woo!
Can you spot the difference?
And if any of you think I'm lying about what Marc said in the video, or if I'm taking things out of context, I'll leave a link to his video down below, and I just wanted to rebut a few of the main points he made. Guess what? I sell supplements, right, Mr. Epic Gains? I mean, because me having a job, that's a bad thing, right? Okay, so because you're making money doing something, that makes it ethical? Do you think the tobacco industry is ethical because they're making money? Do you think no one should protest the tobacco industry for causing chronic disease, suffering, and death because they're making money doing it? The meat and dairy industry, which you support and are a part of since you eat meat and sell these supplements, is even worse since not only does it cause chronic disease and death to humans, but it also causes the suffering and death of animals as well. Sorry but not sorry, just because you are profiting off of suffering and death does not excuse you from any kind of criticism. Fuck you, Mr. Vegan Gains. Have some tact, be respectful. Don't bring my children into it. You have some beautiful children, Marc. I like them when they have a bit of meat on their bones. Well, Marc, I think any sane, reasonable person would disapprove of you taking so many supplements and pills right in front of your children, which is why I included that in my video. It's just like how you shouldn't smoke in front of your kids because you're encouraging them to smoke. I don't think it's a good thing to take so many supplements and pills right in front of your kids because you're encouraging them to pick up a potentially dangerous behavior, and I have every right to criticize you for it. I am a man, you are not, so I can understand why you do that. This is not man-to-man. You are a child? Oh, really? I'm a child? So you make 12-minute videos about what a child said about you over the internet? What does that say about your maturity? I'm not gonna hit the guy. As much as I want to knock him out, I'm not going to knock him out because what, he only weighs $120? Oh, and is it also adult and mature to talk about assaulting people and physically intimidating people online? I don't know. I'm just a child. I don't really know how grown-ups are supposed to act. Not to mention you can't even wipe your own ass because your muscles get in the way of you reaching to your backside. There's a lot of data coming out of the university, I believe it's Central Florida, where they're supplementing branched-chain amino acids alongside ketogenic diets, which are a lot of meat and lower carbs, which do control insulin. Okay, and this is where you really show your ignorance to the topic. Controlling blood sugar is different than controlling insulin. High-fat and protein foods might be low on the glycemic index, but they're very high on the insulin index. Also, high-fat diets have been shown to promote hyperinsulinemia, and carbohydrate restriction itself increases insulin resistance in healthy subjects. Low-carbohydrate diets also increase risk of heart disease and all-cause mortality as well, so that alone just makes your statement absurd. But you also said combining high-fat ketogenic diets with branched-chain amino acid supplementation helps prevent and treat diabetes. Well, branched-chain amino acids and lipids happen to interplay to cause diabetes. So using that kind of dietary intervention to prevent and treat diabetes is just fucking insane. So here again, your dietary recommendations promote chronic disease and you don't even understand any of the research, and you didn't even reference any research. You just said, I think there's some study coming from somewhere at some university. Like, aren't you an adult, Mr. Lobliner? Can't you come up with a logical argument and provide evidence for your claims? Because right now you just sound like an ignorant child. And while whey protein is insulinogenic, it provides a transient, not a biphasic, and acute increase in insulin spike, as opposed to biphasic as carbohydrate do? Okay, and that made no sense, and again, I think you're confusing glycemic index with insulin index. Yes, whey protein has a low glycemic index, and it can lower the glycemic response of high-carb foods, but it has nearly the same insulin response as pure sugar, and when whey protein is eaten with a meal, it increases the insulin response despite lowering the glycemic index compared to just eating the meal alone. And oh, wouldn't you know, look at that, whey protein can induce muscle insulin resistance. So again, thank you for acting like an ignorant child and not taking any time to research the topic. I am not an expert on animal cruelty. I don't like the mass slaughtering of animals, I don't, but we have a lot of people to feed, and that's what we do. Well, Mark, you don't need to be an expert in anything to recognize that murdering animals, at least in modern society, is just plain wrong, and it turns out that if we just stopped grain-feeding cattle, we'd have enough food to feed nearly 1 billion more people. So again, you didn't take any time to research these topics and you're just coming at me with this dumb blind anger. I might get angry during my videos and be really rude, but at least I take the time to actually think about things and research the topic, whereas you do not. Humans eat meat. Whether we're supposed to or not, if you're living in this world, people are going to eat something that comes from an animal. And you're going to have to deal with it that your view isn't the only one. Okay, you aren't even justifying your position with any kind of facts, evidence, or reason or logic. You're just saying, this is what I do, and you just have to accept it. If this was a few hundred years ago where slavery was common practice, would you have just said, I own a slave, this is my choice, and you just have to accept it? Mark, eating animals is unethical and unjustifiable, and it doesn't matter if I'm in a minority group right now, my ethical stance is right. And you also brought up religion in your response video, which I linked down below and everyone should watch in its entirety. And if I'm not mistaken, you're Jewish? Well, Emily from Bite Sized Vegan brought up a really good quote in one of her videos that would really speak to you.
I'm reminded of a chilling quote by Jewish philosopher Theodor W. Adorno, who himself fled from Nazi Germany. He says, Auschwitz begins wherever someone looks at a slaughterhouse and thinks, they're only animals.
Whey is pretty innocuous, man. It's not a big deal. I'm not selling, get mad at beef protein. That's really getting into the cow, right? At least we're just milking the cow, right? I mean, they're actually killing cows and shit. The dairy industry is arguably more cruel than the meat industry as they force cows to get pregnant, essentially raping them. Then once they give birth, their children are torn away from them, where they're placed into the veal industry and tortured for several months and then shot in the head, turned into meat. And best case scenario, they're either left out in the cold to die or just ground up into hamburger meat. So again, you just don't know what you're talking about, and you're just angry at me for really no fucking reason. You say you respect animals, well, why aren't you respecting fellow human beings? Actually, I am respecting fellow humans by not lying to them and trying to trick them into buying bullshit products, and I give them advice that promotes health and longevity. You're just mad that I make you and your friends look stupid. I can still sue your ass, Mr. Gaines! That quote is a little out of context, but again, you can watch the original video to get the whole story. But here's the thing. You say I'm a child, that I don't matter, I'm just a fad. If that was all true, you wouldn't have made a 12-minute long video about me, you wouldn't be trying to physically intimidate me, and you wouldn't be giving me legal threats. The fact of the matter is, I scare the fucking shit out of you because I'm spreading the truth and you're not smart enough to defend yourself against it, so you have to go online and say, I have big muscles, I could kick your ass, I could sue you. So let's just keep playing this game. I'll keep spreading veganism, telling people to eat, low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet, and, telling them that hard work and consistency over time will get their goals. And, you can keep selling supplements and, giving your bullshit advice, telling people, you can get quick gains if you take my creatine, and over time we'll see if people want the truth or if they want what you're selling. And one last thing before I go. Mark, this is YouTube and my videos are supposed to be partly satirical, so when I insult people, don't take it too fucking seriously. Learn to fucking take a joke, learn to laugh at yourself. I don't usually take things to a deep personal level in my videos. If somebody criticizes me or says something I don't like, I don't take it really personally. Usually, you know, there are people like Trisha Paytas and Repzion that I've really fucking hated. But I do usually hold respect for people like you and Dana Lynn Bailey. I just went to the Toronto Fitness Expo, and Furious Pete and Lex Fitness were there, and when they saw me, they acted like complete fucking idiots, and when people can't handle criticism and act like little babies, that's when I really lose respect for people. So, you know what, I'll probably see you at an expo one day, and I hope to come up to you, shake your hand, maybe have a friendly chat, and we can laugh about shit we said to each other over the internet. I honestly do think you're a pretty good, all-around decent guy, and I do disagree with most of what you say, but you're just ignorant like most people, and that doesn't make you a bad person. But how long are you just going to keep ignoring all of the facts and continue with this unhealthy and unethical lifestyle? Because nutrition isn't a game!
What a relief! When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.
Male calves are considered little more than a byproduct, and most are either slaughtered for meat or shipped off to the horrific veal industry, where many spend their short lives in tiny crates, unable to even turn around.